I just learned some jazz today, it's true. He just learned some jazz today, and you gon' learn some jazz today, yes you gon' learn, you gon' learn, you gon' learn. It was just past 1 when 2, 3 man with a 4 or 5 step to the door like, oh my gosh, just throw that cash in a back bag, run around the back and pull up the track, cause yo, couldn't believe them stories conceived for no reason. Please just go and leave them fake is in season, but me not pre them, cause nowadays you couldn't find me on the BBC, CTV, NBC, them can't program me. Better them try to go and see. Taking the heights like Andes, man one step to me, couldn't get the best of me, couldn't beat the rest of we check one way. Touch the brakes and go slow, oh no, dust them out with the one quick solo. I just learned some jazz today, it's true. He just learned some jazz today, and you gon' learn some jazz today, yes you gon' learn, you gon' learn, you gon' learn. Jazz today, yes, you going to learn this jazz. Ooh, I even taught your girl some jazz yesterday. True. No, I'm just playing.
Good evening, delegates, sponsored teachers, and distinguished guests. It is my honor to welcome you to the closing ceremonies of the 3rd iteration of Horizons by Canadian High Schools Model United Nations. For the past 3 years, CAHSMUN Horizons has strived to provide the best conference experience for high school delegates each fall, to bring new and experienced delegates back to another season of MUN. While our location, delegate numbers, and secretariat members may change, CAHSMUN Horizons' mission statement has remained the same: to debate, discuss, and discover. We hope that this weekend you have learned not only a little bit about the world around you, but also about yourself. It is not easy to stand in front of the committee room amidst the clash of opinions. It is certainly not easy to think on your feet when topics and crises make an unexpected turn. And it is definitely difficult to follow your foreign policy and effectively represent a country or an individual that does not represent the opinions of your own. As conference organizers, it makes us incredibly happy to see how you have not only taken the initiative to sign up for CAHSMUN Horizons, but also to make that additional effort to listen intently to other delegates while gathering the courage to speak out and negotiate in a diplomatic manner.
Good evening. My name is John Wu, and I've been honored to serve as the USG of Delegate Affairs for this iteration of Horizons, notably the first in-person iteration of a MUN conference ever since COVID first set in a year and a half ago. It has been a challenging year and a half for all of us. We all know what it is like to debate in front of a screen, talking to a 5x5 matrix of delegates and raising your virtual hands. At least for us, having those delegates across the room from you and having a paper placard to wave in the air are 2 unforgettable aspects of this activity that we cherish so much. It's been an absolute honor to be the first hotel conference to bring this format back to Vancouver and to welcome you back to the fast-paced and captivating committee room. Thank you for accompanying us on this journey. As this iteration of Horizons comes to a close, I'd like to thank especially those that I've been working closely with. Firstly, to our sponsor teachers. Your support of this conference made it possible for all the delegates to attend safely and to receive an educational experience. Delegates, thank you for making Horizons what we dreamt it to be. Thank you for finding the courage to speak in front of a crowd for the first time, for stepping into an uncomfortable environment, and for taking a chance at something new. And lastly, to my fellow Secretariat, thank you for sticking with me through the highs and lows, and for making this virtual year much more bearable. I'm infinitely grateful to have had the chance to work with such an amazing group of people. Once again, thank you all for such an unforgettable weekend. I hope that this experience will have sparked your passion for MUN and that you'll return to this activity which has captivated all of us.
Good evening, delegates, sponsor teachers, volunteers, and staff. My name is Richard Min, and it has been my utmost pleasure to serve as the Chief of Staff for the third iteration of CAHSMUN Horizons. Over the past 5 months, we've been on a roller coaster of emotions and unexpected updates, scrambling to meet deadlines and staying up past midnight to coordinate important plans. Since we are the first genuine in-person conference after what seemed like eons of virtual events and bonding through private Zoom chats, we were both hopeful and fearful to head this double-edged sword. After an exhausting but exhilarating weekend, I think we can all heave a sigh of relief. It is these tangible experiences, speaking to a live committee, passing paper notes to one another, and walking around with fellow delegates that first made me fall in love with MUN. And I do not doubt that they have struck a similar passion into the hearts of delegates present today. I hope that you, the delegates, have a newfound interest in diplomacy and debate, that you made a new friend, made a speech that you're proud of, or laughed at hilariously dumb inside jokes. I hope that, by communicating with your DISE team and your committee, the staff have helped you find your voice and carry you through these past 2 days. And maybe you will find inspiration in applying for staff positions in the future to strike this passionate spark for the next generation of delegates, placing yourself into the shoes of those who once guided you. With that said, I could not end this speech without saying a huge thanks to the staff team. This year, I was expecting a rough ride with the concerns regarding the pandemic and coordinating the team effectively. I stressed over moving people around the staff roster and resolving any issues that spontaneously arose. However, looking back, your expectations for a brilliant conference experience motivated me. Your cooperation and calmness reassured me, and your tireless contributions improved my own state of mind. Even if I needed to chase you down for overdue assignments, I enjoyed and thoroughly relished every moment of working with you. Finally, a shout out to my fellow Secretariat team. You guys were the best. Despite being made fun of as 15 inches tall, mistaking a mole rat for a kangaroo, and being immersed with pouring sand out of my hands at the beach, you formed the foundation of my confidence and trust that we would be able to bring about an unforgettable weekend. Now, I'd like to call upon the USG of Committees, Kathy, to introduce the DISE teams of each committee for the announcement of awards.
Thank you, Richard. When we first started developing the committees program, we put delegates and their experiences as the first priority. We chose our committees to include a variety of topics and structures to cater to different areas of interest, and a variety of intensity to cater to every skill level. We wanted to make sure that beginner delegates had friendly and supportive general assemblies, such as the World Health Organization, to learn in, but more advanced delegates and anyone looking for a challenge could join a regional body such as NATO, a specialized committee such as UNICEF, the Historical Crisis Committee, or even IPC for a more intense experience. I hope that each one of you enjoyed your experience in your committees and learned something new at this iteration of CAHSMUN Horizons. I would now like to call up the committee directors to highlight some key moments in their committees and present awards. Starting off with the General Assemblies, I would like to call on the dais of the Disarmament and International Security Committee.
Rainbow cats, spicy speeches, and Starbucks fueled debate. What more could be expected from the first committee of the United Nations? Good afternoon, staff, sponsor teachers, delegates, and Secretariat. My name is Patrick Huang, and I had the pleasure of being the director for the Disarmament and International Security Committee this weekend, who debated the incredibly relevant topic of prisoners of war. Pertinent in major disputes from the Vietnam War to the Korean conflict, this topic proved to be a hotly contested battlefield for first-time and experienced delegates alike. Delegates, your fervent discussion and fruitful debate this weekend was much appreciated. Your engagement and passion created a committee that any dais would be lucky to have. Finally, I would like to thank you all for your noteworthy adjective suggestions. I'd also like to thank the DISE team for their invaluable assistance this weekend. To my official chairs, Leah Tao and Winnie Song, your expertise and professionalism was indispensable. Leah, while your umbrella was broken, your chairing ability was anything but. Winnie, your thorough knowledge of ROP was a key component to our committee running smoothly. And to my honorary chair, Jenna Jafer, your exemplary management of Chairman was second to none. To the entire DISE team, thank you for your help this weekend. I truly cannot express my gratitude enough. Moving on to awards. Delegates, it goes without saying that all of you should be proud of the progress that you have made over this weekend. While your resolution may have been somewhat sketchy, with secret evidence and authoritarian persecution, you came together as a committee, working together to tackle unequivocally important issues. Please remember that awards are not a measure of success in this conference. Think instead of the connections you've made, the skills you've gained, and the memories you've acquired over this past weekend. With that being said, Best Position Paper goes to Malaysia, Honorable Mentions go to Canada and Russia, Outstanding Delegate goes to China, and Best Delegate goes to the United Kingdom. Godspeed.
I would like to call up the DISE team of the Social, Humanitarian, and Cultural Committee.
Hello all, my name is Talia Feng, and over the past 2 days I have had the distinct pleasure and privilege of serving as the Director of SOCHUM at Horizons 2021. Regardless of whether you call this committee SOCHUM or SOCHUM, I was indubitably impressed to see that delegates displayed the spirit of SOCHUM through diplomacy. Throughout the conference, we discussed an array of pertinent topics, including the poverty or organ trafficking, all under the umbrella of human trafficking. We have learned to talk diplomatically, develop a fixation with unmoderated caucuses, and most importantly, avoid the wires at the front of the room. But despite this, delegates, you have been nothing shy of incredible. Despite the technical difficulties, you have persevered and created a fruitful resolution. So, thank you for making me proud of being your director. Of course, this committee would not have unfolded to be so eventful or, according to our adjective submission form, stupendous, were it not for the intelligence and dedication of our amazing chairs. To Lena, your knowledge of ROP, as well as your taste in sushi, has proven to me that you're a remarkable individual. To Bradley, your dedication to note-taking and quite unfortunate skill in creating memes have made these past 2 days very entertaining. While Lena, Bradley, and I were unspeakably impressed by the passion of each and every one of you, we want to recognize a few delegates that stood out. So, with no further ado, for Best Position Paper, we want to recognize the delegation of Brazil. For honorable mention, the delegation of Norway is awarded, as well as the delegate of France. Outstanding delegate goes to the delegation of Nigeria, and last but not least, best delegate goes to the delegation of Singapore. Thank you all, and I wish the best for your journey in Model UN.
I would like to call up the DISE team of the World Health Organization.
On a weekend in November of 21, the discussion of illnesses in refugee camps began. 33 delegates came to Sheraton, smaller than a typical General Assembly in comparison. Despite being filled with mostly first-time delegates, into 2 diverse blocks the committee separates. We discussed foodborne, airborne, and vector-borne diseases and the importance of healthcare funding increases. From setting up a proper education system to Richard Chen, the Chinese delegate's wisdom. Delegates debated, discussed, and discovered the best solutions after a myriad of speeches were uttered. On the weekend in November of 21, the discussion of illnesses in refugee camps was done. Good afternoon. My name is Kieran Sun, and it has been my distinct honor to serve as the Director of the World Health Organization at CAHSMUN Horizons 2021. Today, the committee discussed the topic of communicable diseases in refugee camps, a pressing issue in today's world. From the DPR case donation of $15,000 and 2 pizzas to the World Health Organization, to the outbreak of Canis grumiola, and despite multiple people tripping over projector wires and numerous technical difficulties, this was a truly rewarding and enjoyable experience. To my phenomenal DISE team, thank you for running the committee sessions smoothly and moderating debate, especially considering that both of you switched to WHO a week before the conference. Angel, thank you for helping me read through all of the position papers and managing CHAHSMUN flawlessly. Eric, thank you for taking notes when I was working on other tasks and calling on delegates patiently. Thank you, Richard Min, and the rest of the Secretariat team for solving any problems we had, both technical and otherwise, and organizing the conference so that we have this opportunity to debate in person. Thank you, Richard Chen and Prad, for making fruitful and captivating guest speeches and for bringing up new ideas. But most importantly of all, I would like to thank the delegates who are all enthusiastic about the topic and eager to speak at every opportunity, far exceeding my expectations. You are the ones that truly brought the committee to life and made my first in-person directing experience memorable and worthwhile. Finally, awards. Although it may sound cliche, and I certainly had my doubts when I was delegating, but I truly mean it when I say that awards do not objectively represent your ability or the extent of your participation. Rather, they are merely a way to recognize those who made significant contributions to the committee. And I can confidently say that deciding awards was the hardest job I had as a director. With that said, Best Position Paper goes to the Democratic People's Republic of Korea for following his country's stance throughout the conference. Honorable mention goes to Germany and the United States for their well-researched speeches. Outstanding delegate goes to Russia for his substantial contributions to his bloc, and Best Delegate goes to Indonesia for moving debate forwards and bringing up new ideas. Congratulations. I wish you all the best in your future endeavors and hope to see you at future MUN conferences.
I would like to call the DISE team of the International Criminal Police Organization.
Hi, my name is Emily Moe, and I have the absolute honor of being the director of the International Criminal Police Organization for this iteration of Horizons. Alongside me are my wonderful chairs, Emily Heiler and Yi-Chun Lee. Over the course of the weekend, Interpol had the overwhelming responsibility of debating one of the most pressing threats to areas affected by poverty, the presence of crime in slums. Despite more than half the committee being first-time delegates finding themselves in an online committee, each and every one rose to the challenge. Their unwavering commitment to represent the interests and beliefs of their countries was inspiring to watch. They consistently reached for a higher level of debate on all the complexities of issues they were presented with, whether it be the infrastructure of homes in slums or how Australian shoes are not ugly. Each delegate truly brought an attitude of collaboration and an overwhelming amount of research, which was amazing to watch. With that said, I will be moving on to awards. Please remember that awards do not determine how good you personally are at debate, and it only says who stood out to us specifically. If I could, I would give an award to every delegate in our committee for all your outstanding performances. But with that, awards are as follows. Best Delegate goes to United States of America, represented by Anya Feng. Outstanding Delegate goes to Japan, represented by Justin Bao. Honorable mentions goes to Spain, represented by Rachna Kartik, and Canada, represented by Kevin Shi. And Best Position Paper goes to United Kingdom, represented by Liana Liu. Thank you.
Thank you, directors. Now, moving on to the regional bodies, I would like to call out the DISE team of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations.
Dear delegates, chaperones, Secretariat, and distinguished guests. My name is Owen Hu, and I am pleased to have directed ASEAN. This weekend, every delegate took part in something revolutionary, something preserved not only in words or debate, but also in memories. Befittingly, I would like to share a memory of my own. Around this time last year, I was a nervous delegate staring at my computer screen, waiting for my director to let me into the Zoom room as the delegate of the Maldives. I checked my phone and panicked, as my friend informed me that in his committee, he was already let into the room and was already beginning debate. My heart pounding, he assured me that it was going to be okay, that we were both going to walk away from Horizons 2020 satisfied to our heart's content. 1 year later, the delegates of ASEAN debated the future of the Belt and Road Initiative in person, free from the worries of Zoom glitches or disconnecting from your room in the middle of a speech. From the delegates of Japan threatening to create a round-the-table cult complete with candles, to a 30-minute long staff evaluation session, this weekend was truly transformative. But now, I would like to thank a few special individuals. To my first chair, Claire Lee. You were clearly the backbone of this committee, and your adjectives never ceased to make the committee laugh. To my second chair, Emily Law, you were truly one in Emily An. Your possibility in the face of chaos from the other room kept us all sane. Oh, and the friend who texted me last year, you now know him as your chief of staff, Richard, who are also lucky to have guided us through this experience. Now onto the awards. Before they are presented, I want to truly note that the award selection process was nothing short of difficult. Every delegate showed exceptional leadership and diplomacy, and I truly wish I could recognize each one of you. There is so much more to these caffeine-powered days than a gleaming gavel that make MUN worth it. That being said, the awards are as follows. Honorable mention is awarded to Indonesia A, represented by Ethan Lee. Outstanding Delegates is awarded to Laos A, represented by Cooper Whitefield. Best Delegates is awarded to Malaysia A, represented by Alana Yip. And finally, the Best Delegation Award is awarded to the delegates of Japan, represented by Elise Chen and Matthew Wong. Thank you, and I wish you the best of luck in all of your future MUN endeavors.
I would like to call up the DICE team of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization.
Greeting everyone, my name is Jenna Zhang, and I've received the honor of directing the North Atlantic Treaty Organization at Horizons 2021. From the incredible theme music blaring through our speakers to the toppled projector mid-conference, the Committee of NATO has been through quite a bit. However, despite all of these challenges, the chairs of my committee, Joshua Dos Santos and Hugo Lam, were able to efficiently combat all of them. Joshua has outstanding talent and intuitive problem solving, while Hugo is a reliable DICE member with strong consistency in his performance. And for their efforts, I am deeply indebted to them. I would also like to thank the efforts of the delegates in NATO. They were extremely flexible in accommodating time restraints, and the NATO delegates continue to provide insightful and provoking ideas under these restraints, and such accomplishments must be awarded accordingly. And it is important to emphasize that it was extremely difficult to decide the awards for NATO. Each delegate participated with their sincere best, and if it were possible, I would give every delegate of NATO an award. However, there are undoubtedly specific achievements from this conference that the DICE believes should be celebrated. And to all the delegates, awards are far from the centerpiece of the MUN experience. When we think of Model United Nations and the crux of its being, we must think of diplomacy and exhilarating debate. Awards are far from either of these things. And so remember this Horizons conference for what it truly was: fruitful discussions and deep bonds with new friends. And now for awards. Best Position Paper is awarded to the United States. Honorable Mention is awarded to Montenegro. Outstanding Delegate is awarded to Albania. And finally, Best Delegate is awarded to the UK. Thank you to all my chairs and the delegates for putting in all your hard work and just making NATO possible. And I hope this conference sits with you for long after you step outside of the meeting room.
Thank you, directors. Finally, on to the specialized agencies and advanced committees. I would like to call the DICE team of the United Nations Children's Fund.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Yufei Huang, and this weekend, I had the honor of serving as the director of the United Nations Children's Emergency Fund. Throughout this conference, UNICEF discussed one topic: access to education in isolated communities, which was successfully addressed with maturity and diplomacy. Firstly, I would like to recognize my fabulous DICE team, Annie and Emily, my chairs, and our Flex staff, Secura. They were the pillars of this committee. I truly could not have done this without you. The DICE was extremely impressed by everyone in the committee. We witnessed a level of diverse and engaging discourse beyond our expectations. From the amazing debate of the lead bloc, to the bigger and better bloc, to hoarding all of the mints, thank you for making this conference such a memorable and rewarding experience. Delegates, we're all so incredibly proud of the level of knowledge, wit, and diplomacy you displayed, and applaud each of you for your hard work this weekend. With that being said, we would like to take this moment to recognize a few delegates in particular. For best research, we would like to recognize Australia. For honorable mention, we would like to recognize the United Kingdom. For our outstanding delegate, we would like to recognize Mexico. And finally, for our best delegate, we would like to recognize the delegation of Germany.
I would like to call the DICE team of the United Nations Security Council.
Dear honorable guests, sponsor teachers, fellow staff, Secretariat, and delegates. My name is Neil Hong, and over the past 2 days, I've had the privilege of serving as the director of the United Nations Security Council at Horizons 2021. This year, the Dear honorable guests, sponsor teachers, fellow staff, Secretariat, and delegates. My name is Neil Hong, and over the past 2 days, I've had the privilege of serving as the director of the United Nations Security Council at Horizons 2021. This year, the UNSC explored the topic of cybersecurity, or was it cyber warfare?
The committee dove into each nation's respective policies, present and future actions, and came together with compromises. Whether it was Russia's alleged non-existent cyber attacks, or Mexico's cardinal focus on tomato farms, or the unprecedented kidnappings, everyone brought creativity and insight to the floor and contributed immensely to the profound success of this committee. To my fellow DISEC member Yuri, you're the most dependable and responsible chair, and your professionalism and knowledge in upholding your position were more than I could have asked for. Your contributions and presence made my first in-person staffing experience all the more precious. To the delegates, I arrived at the Wall Center terrified of what was to come, of uncontrollable quarrels and boring debate, but your performance, camaraderie, and comfort were all beyond belief. Your participation remained unaffected by those around you, and together you have fostered such an amazing environment. I'm sure that all of you are walking away with lasting friendships and meaningful memories. Although the committee was small, I would not have traded the 12 of you for a committee of 120. While I truly believe that all of you are worthy of recognition, there can unfortunately only be 4. But please recognize that your efforts and performance were outstanding in every manner, regardless of your award. I sincerely wish you all the best in your future endeavors. And now, finally, onto the awards. Best Position Paper goes to Ireland. Honorable Mentions goes to the United States. Outstanding Delegate goes to France. And Best Delegate for your leadership and eloquence goes to the Russian Federation. Thank you.
I would like to call on the DISEC team of the Historical Crisis Committee.
Good evening, delegates, staff, secretariat, sponsor teachers, chaperones, and distinguished guests. My name is Jasper He, and over the past 2 days, it has been my absolute pleasure to direct the Historical Crisis Committee for Horizons by Canadian High Schools Model United Nations 2021. When selecting the Vietnam War as a topic for this committee, I was concerned that delegates may feel dejected and unmotivated when faced with such a complex and distant topic. However, I was instantly impressed by the enthusiasm and patriotism delegates showed from the moment I initiated the crisis. Being the first in-person conference I have staffed at, I am immensely grateful for my delegates and, of course, for my DISEC team. Megan, thank you for your proficiency in CAHSMUN and for being kind but strict when necessary. Mia, thank you for always being approachable and helpful during committee sessions. And to our Flex staff, Prad, thank you for being so flexible to substitute for Mia for the entirety of the first day, and thank you for helping me process the hundreds of directives we received. Without you 3, there is no way I could have pulled through these 2 days without losing my sanity. To the delegates, thank you for the fruitful debate and exhilarating crisis. Now, awards. Truly, each and every one of you should be rewarded for your bravery and passion, but I would like to recognize a few delegates who stood out. For his diligence in directive writing and risk-taking, honorable mention goes to the Commander of the United States Tactical Air Command, General William Wallace Molyneux. For their creative solutions and committee leadership, outstanding delegate goes to the United States Secretary of State, Dean Rusk. And for his exemplary leadership and decisive action, best delegate goes to the United States Secretary of Defense from 1961 to 1968, Robert McNamara. Thank you.
And finally, I would like to call the DISEC team of the International Press Corps.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bridget Wolf, and it was my pleasure to serve as Director of the International Press Corps this weekend. The IPC spent most of the conference in other committee rooms reporting on the issues being discussed and the progress of debate. The result was some incredible writing and many eye-catching headlines that I greatly enjoyed reading. Before recognizing those who delegated in the IPC committee, I would like to take a moment to thank my wonderful chair, Fred Yang, and our Flex staff, Richard Chen, for making IPC possible. Your article editing was much appreciated. Every single IPC delegate worked hard to write high-quality articles and generated creative and high-quality writing. I was extremely impressed with all of your work, which made choosing awards particularly difficult. However, I would still like to recognize a few delegates whose writing, reporting style, enthusiasm, and work ethic particularly stood out to me. With that being said, the award for Best Position Paper goes to The Economist, the honorable mention goes to The Onion, The award for Outstanding Delegate goes to Russian news agency TASS, and Best Delegate goes to Fox News.
Good evening, sponsor teachers, delegates, and honored guests. It is unbelievable that the weekend of passionate debate, encompassing resolutions, and resonating laughter is now behind us. Standing here at opening ceremonies 30 hours ago, the Secretariat team witnessed the power of youth. We saw debate, discussion, and discovery. We witnessed passion. Delegates, I was not able to watch each and every one of you grow in your potential, but from watching UNICEF champion solutions to access to education, to reading the articles of the many agencies of the International Press Corps, I know that each of you were able to take something away from this conference. Whether it was a new fact you learned from a fellow delegate, a new courage and confidence to share your perspectives in front of others, a new eagerness to create discourse, or a new passion for Model UN. I implore you to carry this with you on the next steps of your journey. While there are 7 of us on the Secretariat team, I can only attribute the success of this conference to many others, without whom this conference would not run. To these individuals, I cannot thank you enough. To all the hotel staff at the Sheraton Vancouver Wall Centre, your flexibility and your hospitality created the foundation upon which this conference, literally and physically, ran. This beautiful venue is vital to our conference. Thank you for making this process so efficient. To our sponsors, thank you for your generosity and financial backing. With your generosity, we are able to open new horizons for our delegates to explore their passions. Sponsor teachers, I have to be honest. At this conference, I truly learned how much patience, flexibility, selflessness, and care it takes to be a sponsor teacher. We may not show it all the time, but I speak for every single delegate here when I express my sincerest thanks for your support, your patience, and your understanding. Taking the time away from the masses of papers waiting to be graded, your own private lives, and waiting alone on hotel couches to ensure the safety of your students is a feat that should be internationally recognized. Delegates, please take a moment to thank your teachers. Give them a hug after this conference. Your teachers deserve the world. To the staff team, congratulations, Richard, on hiring the most qualified and fitting staff for Horizons. Staff, you were the bridge between students and Model UN. This weekend, it was your leadership and your guidance that brought out the best in each delegate. Know that the passion you nurtured this weekend can be the point in which a delegate chooses to reach out, to seek a staff position, or to pursue a life in politics and debate. Thank you, staff, for forging an experience that the delegates will never forget. Last but not least, I want to thank my team. These past months would not be possible without the most talented, supportive, and committed people. Although we operated on a tighter timeline this year, all of you handled your tasks with great stride and care. Victoria, thank you for being so reliable. Every challenge we threw at you, you were able to handle with efficiency, exceeding our expectations time and time again. I cannot express the amount of dedication you have to this conference, and it is evident in the quality of everything you do. I genuinely could not have asked for a better USG marketing. Until the next time we share a pizza together. John, you may be the youngest member of the team, but you never let that be an obstacle to achieving your fullest potential. Your energy and confidence carried us through our weekly meetings and team bondings. From just our 5 months on the team, I know your strong character will take you far in life. Kathy, my favorite night owl, thank you for taking initiative and being proactive in stepping in to help with tasks. Our diverse committees program and its fruition landed on your shoulders, and you took it responsibly. Your blue hair was definitely a great touch in capturing the essence of Horizon spirit. Cindy. Oh, Cindy. Missing shipments, unresponsive companies, mass cold emails. No adversity can stop the passion you have for Model UN. Thank you for not being only a diligent and the team member, but also one of my closest friends. Your ability to relentlessly negotiate with our external stakeholders never fails to amaze me. Our well-balanced budget is all kudos to you. Richard, thank you for always being so positive, always with a smile or a laugh. Your cheerful attitude really brightens the team. Without your careful guidance and substantive work, we could not have made a better experience for delegates. Let your assertive news broadcaster voice lead and inspire many more teams in the future. You are our favorite 15-inch garden gnome. Christopher, greeting. No matter how stressful or dire the situation, you always remain collected, which made everything smooth running and much more efficient. I could not have asked for a better partner. You complement my technological struggles by reorganizing our Google Drive and pouring hours into immaculate spreadsheets. Thank you for everything, Chris. It was a long and arduous journey, but there is truly no other team I would take it with. So, delegates, consider CAHSMUN Horizons as a stepping stone to your Model United Nations career. Your skills, your passion, and your talent have emerged and developed, and many more memories lie on the horizon. Soon, at our spring conference CAHSMUN, you will have more opportunities to embark on your journey of debate, discussion, and discovery. Mark your calendars. We look forward to seeing you at CAHSMUN 2022. Thank you for this experience. Thank you for CAHSMUN Horizons. With that being said, CAHSMUN Horizons is now suspended until its next iteration.